Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Olympic gold medalist Sha'Carri Richardson was arrested for assaulting her boyfriend, fellow athlete Christian Coleman. The Team USA sprinter was taken into custody on Sunday at SeaTac Airport in Washington State after a TSA agent reported a woman assaulting a man while leaving the security checkpoint. The reporting officer says they reviewed security footage that showed a verbal altercation escalating into a physical one when Sha'Carri pushed Christian so hard that it sent him crashing into a nearby column. The officer says Christian tried walking away from his girlfriend of 2 years, but she continued following him and again pushed him hard enough that it sent him flying a few feet away. Police say the altercation progressed when Christian returned to the TSA screening lanes in an attempt to get help, during which footage shows Sha'Carri following him and throwing a pair of headphones, striking him. The responding officer developed probable cause after reviewing the footage and placed Sha'Carri into custody. She was booked into the Score jail and charged with 4th-degree assault. In an interview with police, both Christian and Sha'Carri denied any physical altercation, and Christian declined to be a victim or press charges. It's not clear when Sha'Carri was released, but Sha'Carri and Christian both participated in a track event in Oregon on Thursday. Sha'Carri, for her part, hopped on Instagram after the incident and said this: "It's time for a change." I ain't got no problem with that. Now, the question is she seriously talking about a change with her behavior, or is she talking about a change with the relationship, within the relationship, like actually get up out of the relationship? Or is she talking about dissolving the relationship? Because here's the fact, fam. Most people who are in relationships, I do believe, are unqualified to be in relationships. Not because they're not good people, but because they can't cope with rejection. They cannot cope with disappointment. They cannot cope with someone not behaving in a manner that they want them to behave without them blowing their top. They can't handle it. And this is why you have so much toxicity in relationships. There's so many people who exhibit violence in relationships. Now, if you think about this, fam, they're good on the job or in other situations. They don't become violent, even when it comes to friends and stuff. They don't become violent. But somehow, some way, when it comes to the most important part, the person you lie your head next to, you want to put hands on them. You want to hurt them. This is the person that you're supposed to be able to trust more than anybody. And you want to put hands on them? Think about it, fam. Think about all the times you've seen people get involved in physical altercations in relationships. I know some dudes who only fight when they're fighting on their woman. They only beat on their woman. They never fighting anybody on the job. They never fighting anybody in the streets. They only go home and beat on their woman. That's what they do. It's something about these relationships. People can't figure it out. So let me help you. We don't own each other. We're on loan to each other. I know some of y'all don't like me equating loans to romantic and intimate relationships, but all I'm saying is, as long as this person wants to be with you and you want to be with them, you're in a relationship. As long as this woman says, I want to be your wife, I'm your wife, or this guy says, I'm your husband, then that's how long the relationship goes. The moment that person says, hey, I'm out, I don't want to do it anymore, it's their prerogative to leave, to bust it up, to move on. You have to understand that relationships, all relationships, are going to end by force or choice. Every single relationship. I think if people went into relationships understanding that, not going in being a pessimist, saying to yourself, it ain't gonna work out. I'm not talking about like that. But going in knowing that you give your best. You give your best in a relationship, but you go in like an adult. You go, and if you're not, even if you're not an adult, some of y'all are kids, y'all youngsters, but you go in with the common sense that some relationships work out long term. Very few work out long term. And most are short term relationships. No matter how many butterflies you feel for this person right now, no matter how this person does it for you, people change. And people grow at different rates, and that's something that people don't get also. When you first meet somebody, y'all seem like y'all got everything in common because y'all can't get enough of each other because you're always around each other. And maybe both of y'all like to go out. Maybe both of y'all like going bowling on Tuesdays and, or maybe y'all like sitting at home watching TV and, you got a nice cushy job, she got a nice little cushy job and it just seemed like a perfect match and y'all got time for each other. But somewhere along the line, you start developing different interests. Perhaps that person is growing and now they want to go back and get that law degree. And you like, hold on, wait a minute, man. If you go get a law degree, how you gonna take care of me? Everything cool over here, like, how you gonna have time for me, Everybody knows if you're studying for that bar, if you're studying for that LSAT, that takes a lot of time. You pretty much can't do nothing else but breathe. And you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of time. So now how you gonna have time for me? And then if you bring a baby into the equation, most women are going to put their babies' needs before their husband's needs because they think that in a woman's mind, he's a grown-ass man. You can handle yourself. If you're hungry, hey, you'll figure it out. But the baby is counting on me. So this is a rabbit hole, fam, and I'm not gonna go down all the way down this rabbit hole because it goes deep. But this is why you have to have an understanding. You have to, when you go into relationships, understand that first and foremost, that ain't none of these relationships guaranteed. I don't care how great you feel about it, how much they say they love you, how much you say you love this person. None of these relationships are guaranteed. All these relationships end by force of choice. Every single one of them have an end date by force or choice. So if you go in understanding that, understand that we don't own each other. Understand that the reason why you got with this person, in most cases, the reason why you got with this person is because this person was free-spirited. This person had their own mind. You respected this person's opinion. But now that y'all into it, really, really into it, all of a sudden you don't respect the person's opinions. And now that's causing problems because they're not behaving like you want them to behave. So you just gonna beat them into behaving. That's not gonna work. It might work for you for a little bit, but eventually that's not gonna work. And let me tell you something else. Anytime you put your hands on somebody, the first time you do it, I don't give a damn if you say I'm sorry and they accept the apology or they appear to accept the apology and y'all move on and y'all been together for 5, 10 more years. That trust is now broken. Anytime you put your hands on somebody, the trust will be broken and it ain't never gonna be mended. I don't care what they say, I don't care what you say. It's not gonna be the same. They may still be with you and all that kind of stuff, but they'll never feel completely safe around you. Because when you hit somebody, when you put your hands on somebody, you think, in that person's mind, like, you don't like them. You're a dangerous person to them. You ain't no different than the person out on the streets. If they're trained to not trust strangers because strangers will, might hurt you, might harm you, and then they mess around and get hands put on them inside of their home, hell, what's the difference? You heard it, stranger danger, be careful, stranger danger. Well, some of us are in relationships with strangers. That's right, I said it. Some of us are in relationships with strangers. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Some people were online cracking jokes about Sha'Carri put hands on Christian. They were very, very laxed about these charges. She clearly pursued him. She clearly followed him around. She was the aggressor. She put hands on him. She pushed him into a column. She pushed him hard enough to where he stumbled. And a lot of, and you know who I'm talking about, women, was like trying to excuse the behavior. Well, that behavior ain't cool no matter who does it. And if women want people to take them seriously, if the women want that protection when violence happens to them, they're gonna have to be okay with green lighting the protection of men when something like that happens to them. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.